Good day, everyone. I am Jian Rojas, and in this presentation entitled Certain Environment, I will discuss about a supply chain consulting firm that must decide on the location of its new home office. The four locations given are Los Angeles, Tulsa, Denver, and Seattle. And the clients are located in 16 different states in America. So there are different problems and different situations for the each state, and we will tackle that in this presentation. So for these locations, there could be many problems like the cost of operating to deliver in specific states, but there are three main problems that are given in this situation. The first problem is that where should the supply chain consulting office open? And the main problem is that it should serve 16 states. There are four possible locations. Each office has a fixed yearly cost. Every consulting trip has a travel cost. Consultants can handle 25 trips per year, and there is no limit on how many consultants can be assigned to an office. This is the first part. So, for the second part, what if each office can have at most 10 consultants? Well, the problem is the same as the problem one, but there's a restriction on how many consultants can be there for each office. The third problem is what if each state must be handled by only one office? So this is the same as problem 2, but there's a new rule that one state is equal to one office only. So we will discuss this later on what the main problem for this part would be. And the we should answer the problem of does this restrictions or rules increase the cost in total. So these are the data across the four options for their new location. And just by looking at the total office cost, we can see that Los Angeles is the most expensive option. And while Tulsa and Denver are the cheapest options. We can see that Seattle is cheaper than Denver, but we will discuss later on the specific. I provided some specific tables for the each home office that we are choosing from. So I will explain there why Denver is a better option than Seattle, even though Seattle is a much cheaper option. Let us be clear that these data given are all in line with the three conditions or the three problems that are presented. It will not exceed 10, that it will not exceed 10 consultants for each office, and that one location should be only directed to one office. So one state is just for one office. So as we go ahead, we should understand that the data that I will present follows all the three conditions. So we are also tasked to replicate the worksheet, but we should change the names to nouns or names that can only be associated to us. So I changed the states to Jian, and I also changed the labels across to my surname, Rojas. So let's discuss and analyze the Los Angeles office. The total cost for Los Angeles office is $180,678. The fixed cost of the office is 165,000, which is much higher than the other three. The total trip cost is 15,250. There are 8 consultants and the total trips are 190. If we try to find the average trip cost, 15,250 divided by 190, and a single trip will cost $80.26, which is a bit higher for the other next offices. So let's now break down and analyze the cost for the Tulsa office. The total office cost in Tulsa is $138,605. The fixed cost for its office is $131,230. It's already much cheaper than the location in Los Angeles, which is $165,000. And if we try to find the average for each trip, seven the total trip cost is 7,375 divided by 125 trips. It's only amounting to $59. And if we compare that 59 to $80 of Los Angeles, this Tulsa is a much cheaper option. But there can be different reasons to choosing a location. So let's see in the upcoming slides. Let's break down the
So
total
let's
Denver
break down
office
the
cost.
Denver
It is
office cost
amounting to
of
$159,625. The fixed
$159,625.
cost for their
The fixed
office
cost
is
of office is
$140,000,
$140,000. It
and
is
the total
cheaper than
trip cost
LA of
but more
19,625. So
expensive
the
than Tulsa.
average trip cost
And
will
if we
be
try to break down the
19,625
average
divided
trip
by
cost, it
235,
is
$83.51.
19,625 divided by
So
235
this
because 235
prices
trips,
are
it's
just
amounting to
close
$83
to Los Angeles
and 51
as the
cents.
trip
So
cost is
this is a
just a bit higher
more
than Los
expensive
Angeles, but
option than
the
Tulsa, but it
lower
is
fixed
cheaper
cost
than
of
Los
office makes
Angeles.
up for that margin.
And
And
as we break
as
down
we can
later,
see
we will see
later,
that
and I'll
Denver
explain it to
is
you, Denver and Seattle
just
is
close
just
to
close to
Seattle.
each
So
other.
let's see the results in the end.
So
So let's see the Seattle office. We will break it down and compare it to Los Angeles and Denver since they are very close. The Seattle office total cost is $154,875. The fixed cost for their office is $145,000, and the average trip cost is 9,875 divided by 125. It's $79 per trip. This is very close to Denver and Los Angeles, but let we will try to break it down that we can so that we can choose the two best options for when we are putting the office. So let's compare the Denver office and the Seattle office. Let's take Los Angeles out of the equation since Tulsa is the best option and we need to limit our options to only two. If we see the numbers, Denver had 235 total trips and the Seattle office only had 125, but the difference in price is not that much considering that the Denver office had 200 100 more trips than Seattle office. So in the next slide I will discuss why it is better to choose Denver than the Seattle office. So for the first problem, we need that we need to minimize the cost and there are no constraints. There are no maximum number of consultants and no maximum trips per office. It is best if we move the Los Angeles office trips to Denver or Tulsa, and the Seattle trips to Denver or Tulsa also, because Tulsa is the best option. We will not move its trips, and we will try to move the other trips to the Tulsa office because it has lowest average trip cost. Well, that will change, but it is still the best based on paper. And the Denver trips are too much to be changed. It has 235 trips, and the cost will be much higher if we transfer it to California or to Los Angeles and to Seattle. So for the second and third situation, we just use this data because it says that we cannot exceed 10 consultants for each office, and that one state must be associated with one office only. Oh, but we can reduce cost erad if we remove the LA office, because we can get rid of 165,428, and the number of consultants of 29 can still be distributed into three offices, and that will not exceed 10. So the LA office will, so we can subtract 165,428 to the 633,783 of the total cost of the network. And we will try that in the next slides. So, in conclusion to these problems, the second and third situation are still followed. We will eradicate the LA office and move their trips to Tulsa and Seattle evenly, and they will have 9 and 10 consultants. Tulsa and Seattle will have 9 and 10 consultants. And we can also subtract 165,000 from 633,000, which makes it 468,355. But let's say that the cost of trips will increase by 15,000 at maximum, since the Tulsa and Seattle are much more pricey than the LA office for California, Nevada, and Arizona. That will still only amount to $483,000. So it's a much better option.